We're here with basically our instant reaction right after the Thursday night football, just the absolute throttling of the Washington Commanders. I see you peeking out of the corner of your eyes there. What's the score officially at?
It's still 27-18. Commanders have the ball right now. We're approaching 90 seconds left.
Okay.
Um,
So it's over, though, for sure.
it's over. Yeah, I'm just checking to see if maybe there might be like another big play or something on defense. This defense has been
Yeah.
really good tonight.
Yeah, speaking of that defense, man, I mean, you guys saw me do the King of the Hill Green Bay Packers edition. My boy Jensen, the broadcaster, jumped on and kind of took that one on the nose impromptu. He had no idea we were jumping in with that. But as we wind down for the last 90 seconds or so of the game, man, give me some of your takeaways. Again, just two dominant wins, two statement wins over two big-time teams. Are you feeling like the Packers are really contenders after a couple of games? And just give me the ultimate fandom take, man.
I mean, I do think so. I think though I'll temper my expectations until we get Micah off of this snap count. I don't think last week
Yeah,
he played 28 snaps. I don't think
about 45% of those
I don't
snaps.
even think he played that. I think he might have played less today just because again it was a really strong win it was a really strong game on both sides for much of the game. But I think the two biggest things that stick out to me, number one, is Keyshawn Nixon. Keyshawn Nixon made 4 really good defensive plays. He made it a
Yeah.
point in the offseason to be like, yo, like, I am cornerback one. Like, yes, I can return kicks, but I am cornerback one now that Jair is gone. He had 2 really good plays in coverage pass breakups against Noah Brown. He had another one against who I believe was Debo. And then he had another one against Terry McLaurin, I believe, over the middle. Like he played really, really well on defense. And he played well last week as well. So like that's continued. And then Tucker Kraft, bro, over 100 yards. I believe he punched at 120 some yards, had a touchdown. And I will say it is unfortunate to see that Jaden Reed went down with what is either a dislocated shoulder or a broken collarbone on that big play that got called back because of the holding. But as soon as that happened, I was on the phone with my friend and I was on the phone with my friend Bryce. And I was like, Tucker Kraft might go for $150 today. I think Tucker Kraft is definitely in the conversation as one of the most underrated tight ends in the NFL. And
Agreed.
this is a guy who tonight, I don't think he passed the total, but the most receiving yards in a game for the Packers since 2015 was tonight with Tucker Kraft. Before that, to go back to 2015 when Richard Rodgers had 146, 61 of those yards came on that Hail Mary reception from Aaron Rodgers in that game against Detroit, where we won it on the last play of the game. Like Tucker Kraft's really good, not just as a blocker, but as a pass catcher also. The Commanders just failed to convert on 4th down to the game.
Yep, just saw it officially. Game.
Yeah, but I mean Tucker Kraft, not just as a blocking tight end, but passing and running blocking tight end, but also just as a pass catcher in the open field as well. Those are definitely the two big players, like the two players I think are players of the game on both sides of the ball. Gotta show love to Jordan Love. Ran over Terry Amos, I think is his name, on that scramble earlier in the game. But I think
Trey Amos came out with a nice PBU early on too.
He did.
Made a really nice play early in the game that saved a touchdown pass.
It
really did.
But I will say, I think the most impressive thing about this defense is, and there's a note being played right now that this is the first time that the Packers defense has allowed 250 yards in the first 2 games since 1995. So this defense, I think, we talked a lot about the addition of Micah Parsons and what Micah Parsons means when he's on the field. And you're talking about like obviously that's an additional pass rusher, he's an elite pass rusher. But I think what's most important is with Micah on the field, we're not rushing 5 as much as we used to. Right? We're able to just
the
rush
fact
4.
that you're getting pressure with
Micah's
4 just
getting
reminds
double
me of the
teamed.
freaking
He
Eagles
has to get double teamed. So Lucas Van Ness is coming free. Edgerrin Cooper's coming free. Devontae Wyatt's coming free. Devontae Wyatt actually got half a sack, actually, with Micah Parsons early in the game. Rashawn Gary's coming free. He also got a sack tonight. But more importantly, this cornerback room of Nate Hobbs, Keyshawn Nixon and company, it's not great. So having a guy like Micah Parsons up there with what is already an underrated pass rush, adding him to that gives those corners more time, gives those safeties and Xavier McKinney, Evan Williams, and even Javon Bullitt when he's on the field to get more time to stay locked in to their receivers, and make sure that the secondary can be what it is. I think this defense has top 10 potential. This defense might even be a top 5 defense in the NFL by the end of the season. I'm anxious. I'm looking forward, though, to seeing what this defense looks like when Micah's able to play every single defensive snap. Again, we know he's on pretty much like a pitch count right now just because of what's going on with his back, which isn't a major deal. But I think obviously they're probably going to keep him like this for much of the season unless they feel like the defense just falls apart and they need him out there more often than not. But if he's playing 30 some odd snaps a game and this is what the defense is looking like, I can only imagine what the defense look like when he's playing every single snap.
Oh yeah,
And I like that they're putting
it's
them
gonna be
on.
scary.
Yeah, and he's coming onto the field on downs when you need him, right? Long second downs, long third down, fourth down conversions as well. Like he's coming out onto the field for plays where you absolutely need him. And it's still allowing the other pass rushers and the secondary to still be able to, get into a groove of things and still be impactful when he's not on the field, which again, I think will be great once he's fully on the field for every single snap. There's a lot to love. I would say the only thing about this game I didn't love is number one, winter warning game, September 11th, when it's 72 degrees outside, not very wintry. But also there were 4 balls that Jordan Love threw that were just out of reach. There was the first one against Dontavian Wicks where he had to, kind of dive for it on the goal line. He couldn't hold on to it. There was a deep ball for Matthew Golden. Two, the first one was after he got wrapped up on the punt return. Then there was another one. And then towards the end of the game, there was like a deep slant route to Romeo Dobbs that was just out of reach. Again, it's only week 2, so I think that stuff will get cleaned up. But I would say that's really the only issue I had with the game today, is just those 4 balls. The score, obviously, because the Commanders scored 2 touchdowns late, but even just on the Packer side of things specifically, we should have had more than 27 points tonight. This
Absolutely.
could have been a 40-some point performance. We went 4 on 4th down
Yeah.
early in the game. We could have just took a 3. Brandon McManus missed the field goal going into the half as well. So just 3 points there.
Yep.
We left
Doinked
3
it.
points on the board earlier. We could have had a 40-point performance tonight. And again, for what is still, for the 3rd year in a row, one of, if not the youngest team in the NFL, that bodes
Yep.
well.
I think they said the kicker was the only person on the roster over the age of 30. The
It's
kicker and like one
our
other person,
kicker,
probably the punter, right?
and our punter are the only players on the team over the age of 30. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, having the youngest roster in the NFL is definitely something to boast about. I mean, people want to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles defense being the youngest one to ever go on and win the Super Bowl. And it's like you're talking about a very young defense in the Green Bay Packers just over the last few years. Now you got the new DC coming in. Like clearly he has remade that regime. It's really nice to be able to see the way Micah Parsons is punching in. And like you said, I mean, this defense is going to be absolutely scary when Micah Parsons is off of that pitch count, because you saw Micah Parsons getting in on more of those first downs. He played a lot at the end of the 3rd and really through the majority of the 4th quarter. And I just really think that was Green Bay scaring the hell out of, Jaden Daniels and Cliff Kingsbury and obviously Dan Quinn as well, like just making it frightful. Like when number one is on the field, you pay all attention to him. The game plan is designed to stop him so you can do your other things, get your bread and butter, communicate with the X's and O's, and just be able to move the change. But I agree with you. If this defense is playing like this already, with Micah Parsons not even getting a ton of snaps, it's going to be wild to see as it comes down to it. But yeah, I agree with you. The Packers could have easily had a 40-point, 35-point performance tonight. You had Trey Amos, the rookie, like we just talked about earlier. He had a nice PBU that really saved a touchdown. And then you had Jordan Love overthrow Matthew Golden a couple of times. I mean, Matthew Golden with that elite speed, that top receiver in the class, it's going to be crazy when him and Jordan Love really start to connect, because, I believe, like you look, Matthew Golden had no catches for no yards tonight, but he had quite a
Yeah.
few targets and he had just some overthrows from Jordan Love to where it's like, if he catches those, it's like we talked about CeeDee Lamb against the Eagles. If he catches that, we're having a completely different conversation. But I believe when you look at the Green Bay Packers, man, like we are truly witnessing something special right in front of our eyes. You said it's the first time since 1995 that they have given up that amount of yards on average over a couple of games. And the fact that they are just holding opponents out of the end zone is absolutely nuts. I mean, the Commanders had 11 yards in the first quarter. That was the least since week 17 of 2018 when they had 2 yards in the first quarter. I mean, Jaden Daniels came out. Yeah, he was 5 for 5, but he had about 15 yards, going in to the second quarter of this one. And I just got to say, as a New Orleans Saints fan, week in and week out, we continue to win that Marshawn Lattimore trade. He allowed 2 catches back to back and then a holding call early. He had 2 flags last week. You even had the announcers, the broadcasters on the Thursday Night Football literally broadcast going out and saying, like, Marshawn Lattimore in New Orleans used to be a lockdown corner. Now you take a look at him. He's scrappy. He's got flags thrown on him. I mean, he changed his number, right? He was never the Marshawn Lattimore in that black and gold in the number 23. He's just not that player anymore. And I'm so glad the Saints were able to move him when they did, get some draft capital off of him. But, Jordan Love, when he was not under pressure at one point in this football game, 7 for 7 and a touchdown. But when he did end up getting under pressure, 1 for 4, 6 yards and a sack, it was really crazy, just the absolute throttling that the Green Bay Packers really put on the Washington Commanders. I mean, Green Bay had almost a 70% success rate through about the first 20 minutes of game time in this game, not 20 minutes on your clock. We know game time, football time, two completely different things. things, and the Commanders had a less than 10% success rate. Jaden Daniels had a awful success rate tonight. And I want to give a shout out to the replay crew for determining the Packers challenge for that complete catch by Malik Heath, the fifth rounder that we
Great
were
ball
texting
by
about.
Malik Heath there.
A great catch, a great ball by Jordan Love. I mean, very quickly, the replay crew took no time at all and really left no wonder in our minds, like if it was the right call, slash if they were even going to make the right call. And again, just elite throw, elite catch. You can't put it together any better than that. And I think the Packers really set the tone coming out of this game as well. I mean, engineering a 96-yard and 92-yard touchdown drive to open the game up 14-0, while the Commanders' first three possessions were all punts, and they lasted an average of about 4 plays, specifically 3 plays, and then 6 plays, all punt on their on their opening drives. And I thought Jaden Daniels, him at the on the final drive of the second half, his decision making was not very good. I mean, and then the fact that they turn around and they missed the field goal, that was really a potential 6-point swing if Green Bay would have turned around and ended up making it, but obviously they did, so it prevented that 6-point swing, that touchdown that could have been extended for the Commanders. But here's the big thing: are we looking at the same Washington Commanders football team that we saw last year? Because I do not believe that we are. Washington had no explosive plays in the first half, and as far as I'm concerned, they had no explosive plays in this football game. That was the worst ever under Dan Quinn. You got Jordan Love is out here averaging 15 yards a pass with just 5 completions and over 200 yards in the first half. And that was with overshooting Matthew Golden twice on deep throws, like we talked about a little bit earlier. It's I know we're only 2 weeks in. This Packers defense is very good. And I'm wondering if we are actually watching that same version of the Washington Commanders. I mean, missing 2 field goals for Washington in this game really just keeps them from making it a 5-point game. Obviously, they had a point in this game to where they could have extended, got closer, but they were really kept about 2 possessions out of this game the whole time. And they were consistently outgained by about 200, 250 yards. Here's the big thing: Jaden Daniels had 6 scrambles for 16 yards, no scrambles for first down in this game. Through 40 minutes of game time, even, he still had no scrambling first downs. Clearly, you talked about Tucker Kraft. I want to give a really awesome shout out to Matt LaFleur and the offensive coordinator. That beautiful trick play that y'all ran in the fourth quarter with Savion Williams going into the Wildcat, throwing Jordan Love out to the side, faking the pitch to Jordan Love as he was coming back around, and then just taking off on the left side of the field. I thought it was really great, man. But it's tough when you take a look at it again for Washington, because Zach Ertz was your leading receiver. Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel just absolutely disappeared. Jaden Daniels looked a little shaken up at the end. I know you saw that play that the broadcasters were kind of concerned about. Wise Jr. left with a bad injury, and then Austin Eckler was injured towards the end of the game as well. So, I don't want to overreact and say like, oh, it's undoubtedly that the Green Bay Packers have the best defense in the league right now. But when you come out and you play against the Lions the way that you did, I get it. Different coordinators, we have to temper our expectations and understand that there is context within these situations. But then you come out against the Commanders, which the Packers were my pick in this game, no question about it. But then you're able to come out that way and just absolutely dominate them. Again, I don't know if we are watching this same Washington Commanders team that we had last year, man. It is a little concerning. But again, we also do have to realize, like we just mentioned a few times, that the Green Bay Packers defense is one of the best, if not potentially the best right now in the National Football League. NFL Week 2 picks as we get into Week 2 of the 2025 NFL season. Of course, we just had the Commanders and Packers. I know you as a Packers fan took Green Bay. I expected Green Bay to win this game as well, and I was kind of thinking that they were going to give it to the Commanders the way that they did. So you and I want to know on that front for the Week 2 of the.
Hey, it's AJL here. Appreciate you sticking to the end of the video here on YouTube. You could have chose any other show, but you chose my video, and for that, I'm very grateful. If you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media. Hit the bell on the channel so you never miss a post. Check me out on all social media platforms. Right here, you'll find a chance to subscribe to the show, a related video, and a playlist. See you guys in the next one.